Okay, hi everybody. Um, I wanted to go over how to navigate through the Blackboard course in this video. Um, so once you log on a Blackboard, say you go to webcourses.niu.edu, it will either ask you to log on if you're not logged on, or it will bring you to this homepage. Um, from there, you go to courses, and then I'm sure you'll have more courses than I have loaded up, but you can find fundamentals of organismal biology, either the normal section that most people are in, or the few of you that are in the honor section. You can click that one. I'm going to make sure that the Blackboard pages are the same for each of you. For this introduction, I will click on the standard course that most people are in. And this brings you to the home screen. What you'll see here up top is an eastern hellbender salamander, Cryptobranchus allegheniensis. It's this phenomenal salamander that I love so much. It is the largest species of salamander in the United States, and historically could even be found in southern Illinois, although it's most likely extirpated um, these days. You can still find really nice populations, though, in Pennsylvania and North Carolina. I believe those are the states with the strongest, and West Virginia. Those three states have the best populations now. It has this really broad head because it likes to eat crayfish, and it lives complete. It's flat because it lives underwater in fast flowing streams, and it lives under rocks. It's a really amazing animal, and I hope everyone gets to see one someday. When this pandemic is over, the St. Louis Zoo has a really great exhibit, and they actually breed another species of hellbender there, and really phenomenal animal. Okay, so from the home screen, you'll be able to see recent announcements. Um, you'll be able to see various to-dos and tasks that you can customize. You'll see things that are being updated, alerts. I'll be slowly adding things to the calendar, but you should be able to customize your home screen. Now, if we come to the left-hand side of the screen, we'll see a series of menu options, and I'm going to go through each of these in turn. The home page is where we are right now. If you click on announcements, it brings you to a screen that has a record of all the announcements. Occasionally, these will be sent directly to your email, and occasionally they will just be here if they're not necessarily important, but I'd like to make a record of something. So for example, tonight I'll probably add an announcement that I updated the schedule and the syllabus. It's nothing terribly ground shattering. It's just I kind of rescheduled some of the textbook chapter pages, but we'll get to that. So here is your record of all of the announcements. Next, if you click on Live Sessions, you'll see a link to Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, and this is where you'll go to join the live session. So for example, if you want to come to the optional live session on Monday during class time at 10 a.m., you would click on Blackboard Ultra, and then it would load up the live session screen. And from there, you'll click on the session you wish to join, which would be this one. And then on the right-hand side, it will have information about the room, and then you can either, believe it or not, actually call with your phone if you just want to get audio and you don't have internet access. But normally you'll just hit Join Course Room, and this will bring up the live session. It's sometimes Blackboard can be a little slow. Usually it'll ask you to do an audio test first, and as you see here, this purple bar is moving because it's responding to my audio. It might ask you to select your microphone, and then if you select No, I need help, that's what you can click if for some reason it sounds like your audio isn't working. So I'm going to hit yes, my audio is working. And then I'm in Firefox, so depending on what browser you use, you might have to allow different permissions, but I'm going to give it permission to access my webcam. And then it's going to ask me what webcam. I only have one, so I'll say, oh, I see, actually. So I'll need to work on this because it's actually not showing my webcam, so I'll have to hit no, I need help later. But presumably you'd be able to join that, and then you might want to view the tutorial. So it might be a good idea to try to join some of these rooms a little early just to make sure everything's working. And then I'll be sure to record most of our live sessions. If you click down here on the right hand side, you'll have a panel where you can find the chat room and then various other settings and options. So those are the live sessions. Let's see if I can actually get my camera working. Maybe not. All right, so this is something I'm going to need to work on. It works from my computer in my office, but I'm home at my kitchen table right now on my laptop, and it's not working. Fortunately for you, though, if you're joining the live sessions, you don't necessarily need your audio or video to be working. You can just view me without having to interact because there's 93 of us, and 93 is a lot of people. Okay, I'm going to close out of the Collaborate session now and keep going down the different options. So under live sessions, you're going to find Syllabus and Schedule. So if I click that, you'll see you can download a PDF of the syllabus, and you'll also see a link to my email address, which is jvanek1@niu.edu. And just a reminder, in the syllabus video, I'll discuss this as well, but so I'm an instructor. I'm not a professor. I don't have that's not my job title at NIU. But for instructors or professors who are teaching your course, we get tons and tons and tons of emails every single day. And if we recall, there's 93 of you in this class. So you can see how that could quickly get difficult for me to manage. So if you want me to respond to your emails, please make sure that you include the word BIOS 209 in the subject line of your email, and then a brief description of what your email is about. And that is just so I can keep track of all those emails and make sure I don't miss any. I actually set up a filter in my email, and that way I can always find every BIOS 209 email. So just make sure you include that, and then I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. You'll also see that there are different versions of the schedule. Each of these versions has the same information. It's just that one of them is a table in the form of a PDF or an Excel spreadsheet for those of you who are a little more tech savvy or would like to customize the way the schedule looks. And then I also have a PDF which has embedded headings which are accessible by screen readers and other accessibility devices. And so whichever one you prefer is fine. When I update the schedule, I will be sure to update all three like I just did a couple minutes ago. Just a note for Blackboard, my screen will probably look slightly different than yours because I have instructor access and you will be accessing it as a student. So for example, you probably won't see build content, assessment, partner content, etc. up here. However, a common problem in Blackboard is that you'll come and you'll go to a page and then you would see just syllabus and schedule or schedule, right? I need to rename this. It should just be syllabus, not syllabus and schedule. I'll be sure to fix that. And you don't see anything, right? It's just white. But then if you hover over, you'll notice there's this little gray triangle that pops up, but only if you actually move your cursor near it. So if you ever run into this problem where you see a heading, but you don't see any items, any attachments, any text, be sure to come over here and click this tiny little triangle that most people will miss. And then that will actually unhide all of this information. I have no idea why they make this so obscure, but pay attention to that little gray triangle. It will save you a lot of frustration. Okay, if you're in the honors section, you'll also see a copy of the honor syllabus, and that'll be under syllabus and schedule. If you're not in the honors section, then this option may or may not be there on your version of the Blackboard page. But this is the additional syllabus for those of you in the honors or discussion section of the course. Okay, under that, you'll see grade calculator. And this is an Excel spreadsheet that I uploaded and created that allows you to plan your grades for the course. It allows you to figure out what might happen if, say, you get a 50 instead of a 75 on the final, or if you decide that you're too busy this semester for whatever reason, and you are going to gamble by not taking the quizzes, you can actually play around with it and see exactly what happens to your score on any hypothetical you want. Or you can just use it to keep track of your grades and know where your course standing is. I actually have an 8-minute video that shows exactly how to use the grade calculator, although there are instructions in it. So you should be able to use it without watching this video. The first 2 minutes of the video show how to use the calculator. The remaining 6 minutes of the video go over an example of how you can use it for a lot of hypotheticals and planning. So maybe just watch those first 2 minutes to make sure you understand how it works if you're interested in that. Okay, under that there's a tab for study tips and more, and that's exactly what it sounds like, right? So these are a series of PDFs and Word documents and websites and informative text that will help you do well, not just in this class, but any of your college courses. And so I encourage you to definitely take a look at this on your own time. It's certainly not required, but there's a lot of great information in here. And so traditionally, this course is taught by other instructors. I happen to be teaching it this semester, and so I'm going to be, it's structured very similarly to how it is in the past, and that's because people are taking this course for a second time, or they might need to take it again. For whatever reason, either they don't do as well as they'd like, or they had to drop it for outside reasons, or they did fine, but they'd like to do even better, so they're taking it again. And so for that reason, I'm keeping it structured the same way. And so one of the things that previous instructors have done, which I've decided not to change, is that you'll often see things that are in square brackets. So you see study tips in orange here is in square brackets or square parentheses, right? And what that means is an indication that this is something you don't have to read. It is optional. And that will follow over to the lecture videos as well. And so scattered about, you'll see things that are in brackets, and that just means if they're purely optional, and you won't be asked a question about that on an exam. You don't need to know this material. Okay, so definitely check out study tips. Then I have a tab about your instructor. So this is just a little bit about me because some people feel that they want to know more about who is helping them through their learning progress. So this just is a little bit about me as a brief synopsis of even this brief synopsis. My name is Dr. John Vanek. I got my PhD in 2020 here at Northern Illinois University. I worked with Dr. Rich King and Holly Jones, and I studied the ecology and conservation of urban wildlife. So most of our field work was up in Lake County, which is the northeasternmost county in Illinois, just north of Chicago, part of the northern suburbs. I'm from New York. I have a wife. I have 2 kids. My one daughter is 3, who you see here. She has a nice facial expression, similar to me when someone tries to take a picture of us. My other daughter is 7 months old, and you see here one of my dogs. This dog is Callie. My other dog is Carlin. He's an Australian cattle dog. Callie is a Border Collie Lab mix. Yeah, and so if you're trying to butter me up right, you might want to read that, and so you know a little bit more about me. That's just a joke. Okay, under that is the discussion board, and here's where you can post questions that maybe you don't necessarily want to ask me, but you're curious to see what other people in the course have to say about a topic, or really anything else. If you're trying to get to find a study group, hopefully remote with social distancing and masks, right? There's a global pandemic. But you can click on the discussion board, and then you can click create thread here, and a thread is what an item in a discussion board is called, and then you can reply to individual threads. So I might make a thread here. I'll say the subject is introductory thread. Blackboard doesn't necessarily have a lot of spell checks, so introductory. memory. Maybe that's correct. Who knows? Hello. This is a thread. You can reply, right? And now you can even attach files if you'd like, and then hit submit. And now there is a thread here. It says there are 0 unread posts, but there are 0 posts and 0 unread replies. There's the 1 original post. So if I wanted to reply to that, I would click on the introductory thread. And if you have uploaded an avatar, which is the image that represents your virtual self, it'll display there. If not, it'll be a blank head. But now you can either quote this and reply or just reply. And I'll say, hello, John. Hello, John, right? Which is actually a quote from one of my favorite movies, the original Jurassic Park, which came out in 1993. If I hit submit, you'll see the reply. And so now if I go back to the main discussion board, you will see that the introductory thread is here, and my reply is there. And so there'll be a series of replies, maybe even nested replies. Okay, so those are kind of the important parts of the menu here. Then we also have the course content, right? And this is the section that will have the lecture materials and our assignments and our tests, right? So we have 5 units that we'll be covering throughout the year. The first one is Unit 1, and I'll slowly be filling these in as we go along through the semester. So if you click on Unit 1, you'll see that it's divided into 3 topics. And so if you look in the Syllabus and Schedule, Syllabus and Schedule, you'll see that Unit 1 has 3 topics. The first topic is Introduction to Organismal Biology. The second topic is Selection, which has to do with evolution. And then the third topic is Macroevolution, which also has to do with evolution. You'll see that these say item is hidden from students, and that's because we're on my instructor view. As we progress through the course, I will slowly enable more topics. And that is to not overwhelm you and to make organization easy. You'll also see that we'll have 3 quizzes for Unit 1, and the dates of these are on the schedule. And then our exams. You'll see here it says Part A and Part B. That is simply because I don't want you to sit here and take an exam and get to question 49 of 50 and then have Blackboard crash for whatever reason. This way, at least you can, if something terrible happens, at least you've already saved half of your exam, right? And so that's just there to help you. But again, you'll see item is hidden from students, and that's because the course has not even started, right? This is the Sunday before the first day of class. The exams will be available later as we get through the course. Okay, so to access any given day's lecture materials, you will click on the topic. And now within topic 1, you're going to see practice materials for topic 1, and I'll go through what those look like. The textbook readings, which are optional, right? The textbook is not required for this course. I have an online version of the textbook, and I'm not allowed to just give that out for free, right? But I can post pages occasionally. I think it's something as up to 30% I can post at a given time, which is fine for education reasons. So what I'll be doing is I'll be uploading the textbook readings that are listed in the schedule, and then you can actually download those PDFs. And then at the end of the unit, I'll be deleting those textbook readings. But if you were to have saved them before I delete them, there's nothing I can do about that, right? So keep that in mind. And then you'll see that there are a series of lecture videos. It happens that topic 1 actually covers 3 days, so this will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday of this first week. Typically, there won't be nearly as many videos, but right now we have 3 videos, or 3 days worth of lectures broken up into several videos. And this is just to make it easier. Instead of having one super long video, the videos of lectures are broken up. So for Monday, there's 3 videos, which total about 45 minutes or class time. So there's an introduction to BIOS 209, and then an introduction to evolution and genetic variation. And so these 3 videos are what I would encourage you to watch during the scheduled class time, or after it, if you're going to be watching me basically go through this live on Monday, which is your prerogative. And then you'll see that there are the lectures for Wednesday and then the lectures for Friday. And so if you were to click on a lecture, it will load up the internal video player, and then you can hit play, and I believe closed captions are enabled by default. Yes, they are. You can play around with the playback speed if you want the video to play a little slower or a little faster. That's your prerogative. There are other settings such as the quality, and you can expand the screen. And it looks like if you click on this little tab on the top left, you can search through the videos and look for other resources. Or it looks like maybe you can, maybe these are, I'm not sure what Blackboard is telling us here. Looks like these might be little bookmarks to jump ahead. Yeah, so these are little bookmarks to jump ahead to different parts of the video, which you can allegedly search through. See if you type in evolution, what happens. Looks like, yeah, it'll, I'm not sure where it's pulling these keywords from, but you can play around with that on your own time if you'd like. Okay, a common annoyance with Blackboard is that when you're watching a video, it covers the taskbar over here. So if you click out of it or hit the X, it unfortunately pulls you out of the course. So prepare for that. I wish it wasn't like that, but it is. Okay, so if we go back in here, you'll also see that in addition to all the lecture videos, you'll see that I have practice materials for topic 1. So for each topic, there will be a series of practice materials and occasionally supplemental videos and occasionally some jokes that previous professors thought were funny. I actually do think they're funny, so feel free to look at these. You'll notice that there's nothing here, right? There's no materials, and if you click on one, nothing happens. That's because of this silly little gray triangle, so don't forget those gray triangles. So there's actually a lot of information here. So for every topic, there are 3 sets of practice materials. I actually have them incorrectly labeled here. Unit 1, I'm going to change that. Those should say topic 1. So for every topic, there are practice materials, and these are to help you do as best as you can in the course. I'm not going to read this to you, but I would encourage you to read this. It shows you what all of the different practice materials are. There's hidden answers, which is basically a Word document where you can read a question with practice questions and try to answer it on your own, and then you can reveal the answers to know if you got it right or not. And pedagogy or teaching research has shown that quizzing yourself is one of the most effective ways to learn. Reading over your notes, re-listening to lectures after you've listened to it for the first time, assuming you were paying attention, is not nearly as effective as quizzing yourself. And you can quiz yourself any different way. It could be flashcards. There are apps that are virtual flashcards, right? Having your friend ask you a question and then you answer it back, hopefully remotely or with masks, but you get the point, right? So quizzing yourself is the most effective way, among the most effective ways to learn. So take a look at this. This explains all of these different practice materials. I even made 2 videos that are hosted on YouTube and embedded here that show you more specifically about the hidden answer practice questions. So there will be these available for every single topic, and these are going to be a really great way to study for the exam and quizzes, more so than reading the textbook or re-listening to the lectures a 3rd or 4th or 5th time. Okay, so we can re-hide this if we wanted to, right? Then there are some supplemental videos, and these are just short videos that other people have made on YouTube or other websites that go over some complicated topics in a different way, maybe using slightly different jargon, and usually with great visuals that a production company can make, but someone just teaching a course doesn't have the skill or graphic design capabilities to make. So these are great resources that'll help you better understand some topics, so make sure you check these out. And then finally, occasionally there will be some jokes, and then I'll try to explain why they're funny if you can't make it. So usually explaining why a joke is funny ruins it, but from a teaching perspective, it's there to help you, right? Okay, so that's Unit 1. If we go back, right, there'll be all of those things will also be available for Topic 2 and Topic 3. And then I will make a separate video going over how to do our quizzes, but basically you'll come through here and you'll click on a quiz and you'll be able to answer a series of short answers or multiple choice or true false. And they'll be due by midnight or 11:59, right, on the day they're due, which is listed on the schedule. This is a global pandemic though, so if you're gonna, I would rather you submit a late quiz than no quiz at all. And so there will be minimal points off for submitting a late quiz. But if you would like to do a quiz and it's going to be more than slightly late, email me, let me know, and we'll work something out, because these quizzes are here to help you learn the material so that you can do well on the exams. And I understand it's a global pandemic. A lot of people have stuff going on, so I will be extremely flexible and lenient. Just contact me and don't take advantage, because that's not fair to other students. And by don't take advantage, I don't mean don't contact me and ask if you can take a quiz late. I mean, don't realize that you were up playing Call of Duty until midnight and then you forgot to do the quiz. Then don't email me. But if you had family circumstances or work, or it was just a really tough week, let me know and we'll work something out. Okay, those are the main things to look for in this course. You'll also find my grades, which will be a list of where you can, when I grade your quizzes or tests, they'll show up under my grades, and so you can use that and then play around with the grade calculator yourself. And then tools, I believe, is just for me. Homepage is possibly just a duplicate of the one up there. Old exams for practice. Okay, so if you look at this one, there's a series of old exams. And I would definitely encourage everyone to take a look at some of these to get an idea of what kind of questions you'll be expected to answer. There'll be a couple differences, because even though we're using the lecture materials from previous instructors, I will be making the exam questions. And that's because now that everything is online, people like to copy and paste those exam questions and put them on the internet and try to look them up on Quora or other websites, or and please don't do that, because it just makes it more difficult for me, because every time a question is then on the internet, I have to make a new question, and it's not fair to the other students who are not cheating. So please don't do that. When you're taking your exams, you have one class period. So if you're answering quickly and you want to look something up, I'm not going to stop you. We're not using anti-cheating technology in this course. But please do not take your exams with another student. Take them on your own, and please do not post those questions on the internet, because you're just being a jerk if you do that, and you're just making it harder for everyone except yourself. So please don't do that. Refrain from doing that. But take a look. That said, take a look at these exam questions to know what to expect. One of the main differences is that I've found in my research that using 3 multiple choice options instead of 4 or 5 is more fair for the student and is a better indication of their knowledge. So my multiple choice questions will tend to be 3 option instead of 4 or 5. So that's one of the differences you'll see with these exam questions. Okay, and then the last thing is you'll see here some optional tabs. Again, if you look, they're in square brackets, which means you're certainly not expected to even click on this if you don't want to, but it's here for you. The first one are some research and employment opportunities. different places where you can find jobs, different job boards. This is actually a phenomenal resource, so I definitely encourage you to look this up. I'll try to update some of these that are out of date as they happen. So some of these are from last spring, but I'll try to update these for spring 2021. Then there's a tab for NIU events and opportunities, and so this is important too. Again, you don't have to look at this if you don't want to, but it has information about scholarships, about how to get interested in research at NIU, even as an undergraduate, different biology clubs or clubs, how to become a high school teacher, all sorts of great resources. So if you have the time, take a look at this. There's also a tab about graduate school and biology. Some really great resources here. But if you if you ever have questions about graduate school, please feel free to contact me. I was the first one in my family to go to graduate school for science. I think I have an aunt who went to, got her master's for teaching. But I'm the only one in my family with a doctorate. My parents did not help me navigate the college process. I had to learn all on my own. So I know how frustrating and difficult that can be. So take a look at these resources, but also feel free to contact me if you're interested in graduate school. And just a big note, usually in the sciences, you're not necessarily paying tuition for graduate school. Usually you get free tuition and you might just have to pay fees. And oftentimes they'll even pay you to do research. So graduate school is a great option even for people from low income backgrounds like I did. I took out full student loans to go to undergraduate. My parents did not pay for any of my tuition. I paid through loans and scholarships. And then I was able to go to graduate school. And I never had heard of graduate school when I was in high school or the beginnings of college. So don't not consider graduate school because you think you can't afford it. You might be able to. Okay, and then there's some tabs with some more jokes or some just interesting things. If you're a big science nerd like I am, you might find some of this stuff really interesting to read on your own time. And then we have some COVID-19 information. Okay, so that is an overview of how the Blackboard page is structured, and I hope you found this informative. And with that, I will say goodbye.